Hi all, my name's Alex and I'm from SafetyScreens, the largest manufacturer, supplier and installer of fly screen windows, fly screen doors and plastic strip curtains in the UK. In this brief video, we just want to run through with you how to get a quote off us and how to ensure we're quoting for the correct products whilst doing so. Getting this right at quote stage is essential for our supply and install service, as this enables us to manufacture on site and complete in one fell swoop. Because of this, we can keep the costs down and speed up the lead time for you. So just a few points to get us started. If you take anything away from this, please let it be the following bit of advice: pictures, pictures, and more pictures. With camera phones these days, it couldn't be simpler. I can't even imagine having to quote 30 years ago when the company first started out. What a lot of customers have got into the habit of doing is sending images through to us before ringing us 5 minutes later to discuss. This means that as we're talking to you on the phone, we're already looking at the pictures, which can help answer a lot of our questions. These pictures can be sent through to us via email on both sales@safetyscreens.co.uk and also install@safetyscreens.co.uk. We're also on WhatsApp on the number on your screen now. That's 07483 985 871. When it comes to the photos, just a few tips. Please don't take them off Google Maps like some have been known to do. That unfortunately doesn't tell us much. If you could leave a little either side of the frame so we can see the full reveal, and then try and take it from the side that we're fitting to. Of course, if you're unsure which side that'll be, just simply send us through pictures of both. As we'll come on to shortly as well, if you think there may be any obstructions, such as a handle or a wire, then if you could take a close-up of that, that would be fantastic. And just quickly on the roller shutters, make sure the lighting allows us to see the top corners, as that's where we may be fitting to. It usually is a lot easier when the shutter is actually down. We don't want it to be too dark and silhouetted like in this image here. Secondly is the measurements. Please have to hand a tape measure, as if you greatly underestimated the dimensions, we may need to requote. However, for supplying fits, there's no need to be accurate to the millimetre. Before we make the screens up on site, we'll double check your measurements, meaning there's no need to fret about whether a doorway is 900 millimeters wide or 910 millimeters wide. More on where to take your measurements from in a minute. Very much related to this is our advice to callers from site. We may just need one extra measurement or a picture from a slightly different angle, which can be easily done if you're still near the doorway or window in question. We do, though, appreciate that times are changing and you may be completing your paperwork and submitting quotations to your customers outside of office hours. With that in mind, we now have our online quote package that allows you to fill in your quote details online. Simply go to safetyscreens.co.uk or plasticstripcurtain.co.uk to find it. You won't get a price there and then, but we'll be sure to send you one as soon as we're back in the office. Now on to a few more specifics with regards to how to measure up. Firstly, for the fly screen windows. It may sound straightforward, but if the window opens outwards 90% of the time, that means we'll look to fit on the inside. Then if it opens inwards, we'll likely look to screen externally. This video shows one of our glamorous technicians measuring up a window design. This is pretty common. Note how we take the dimensions from the inside of the reveal. Okay, in this example, it comes to 90 millimeters wide. Now, we appreciate not all windows have this layout, but if you take it from the widest part of the frame, then you can't go wrong. One complication we have at times can be the handle on the existing window where it protrudes out from the existing frame. What we may ask you to do is measure how far that sticks out from the frame. In short, this can determine what subframe we use to bring the screen away from it, so the screen can sit nice and flat. You'll also come across windows where part of it is fixed and doesn't open. It may have a smaller top opener, like the one in this picture. So here, what we're trying to do is screen that open window only, as it's far more cost effective. It would be useful for us here if you could take measurements of the opening section only, as well as the overall reveal. Windows that require an external fitting can on occasion come with the added problem of being on an upper floor. It may not be possible for you to get up there and take these outer measurements. So in these examples, the internal dimensions will be okay. They're not going to differ greatly. Picture-wise, it will be good to get an idea of the layout underneath the window and how practical it is to use scaffolding or a cherry picker or a scissor lift. Take this picture, for example, here. Because we received this wider picture that included the grass verge underneath it, we knew access equipment wasn't really an option. And so we had to find an internal solution for these windows instead. For the doors, the big question that needs answering is whether the existing door that's there has a crash bar or a push pad. This dictates what type of hinge we're going to fit to our fly screen door. If it does have a crash bar, like this one here, then what we'll look to fit is what we call a double action hinge, seen in this picture. This is fitted on the inside of the frame so it can swing through the reveal as we line up our push plate to trigger the crash bar open. For those with a standard up and down handle, we would fit a single action hinge. Pushing against the existing handle will just damage both doors. So with this design, we can only open the opposite way. On the measurements for the doors, we would just like the outer frame dimensions seen in this video here. If you were to take measurements of just the door itself, that would actually give us a measurement that was too small, in particular on the width. When it comes to the height, we need it from the floor to the top of the reveal. The other thing that we want you to keep an eye out for is obstructions around the framework, such as door closers and alarm contacts. So on this door, we would actually need to remove the door closer before we're able to fit our fly screen door frame. Finally, some advice regarding the roller shutters and the plastic curtains. It's important that we see pictures from both the inside and the outside so we can work out where to fix to. When taking the internal pictures, it would be great if we could get one stood back of the overall opening and also of each top corner, like in this image here. Of course, measurements for warehouse shutters are a little trickier to get accurate unless you have a laser measure to hand. Don't worry about being 100% accurate, but we just encourage you to make the most of anything nearby that can be used as a reference. For example, if there's a door next to the shutter, that door is likely to be just over 2 meters. Therefore, if the shutter looks 2 doors high, that would make it roughly 4 meters. We've also had customers work out the height of each brick as well before, and then they've counted how many bricks high the shutter is. Once we've got all the product information we require, the next stage is to get a few basic site details, a site name, a postcode, and the parking situation on site. That's particularly relevant for any inner London jobs. We can now put all this through our quote package and get a price for you. This is then sent to you in an email that looks a little like this on your screen now. You'll notice at the end of the email, there is a button titled Click to Order. When you finally get to the go-ahead from your customer, this is the button you need to click. This takes you into a separate order form that looks a little like this. The first thing you'll have the ability to do is change the quantity of each product. Say, for example, your customer only requires 1 window and not 2 that were originally quoted for, that's no problem. Or if they want the window but not the door, then absolutely fine, just put a 0 in. It then moves on to some extra details which should hopefully be straightforward to fill in. Site contact here is really important as it allows our technician to keep people updated on his exact timings on the day of the install. The comments section is crucial as well. The 2 most common obstacles we find are RAMs that need to be submitted prior to arrival and also site inductions. Some inductions take a good few hours, which then starts to affect our planning for the week. Any information you can provide at this stage is gratefully appreciated, no matter how basic you think it is. Once you've clicked order, we should then receive a confirmation email. All that's left to do now is for us to send an order confirmation back to you that completes the cycle and lets you know that the order is in the system. From here, we'll start looking at potential install dates by working with you and your customer on when is best for us to attend site. Well, if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking with us. There's a good chance you still have questions. If so, make sure to get in touch. If this process seems complicated, then don't worry, it'll become second nature after your first few quotations. Here's a quick reminder of the contact details again. You can call us on the office number, that's 01260 295 999, When it comes to sending pictures, you have the option of doing this via WhatsApp on 07483 985 871. And you've also got a few email addresses. You've got sales@safetyscreens.co.uk and you've got install@safetyscreens.co.uk. Thanks once again for taking the time to use our products, and we look forward to hearing more from you over the coming weeks and months.